From Breitbart, George Floyd getting Hollywood treatment with Daddy Changed the World biopic. And of course, we recently passed the 4th anniversary of the demise of fentanyl Floyd. Oh, it was so tragic. And this, of course, triggers me to no end because I was detained protesting the lockdown less than a month before the world knew the name George Floyd. It was all completely ridiculous. That was dangerous. You got to go home. They blasted us with propaganda.
Don't follow unlawful.
Non-essential gatherings of any kind have been prohibited by the governor and the mayor. This gathering is unlawful and you are ordered to disperse. If you fail to disperse immediately, you are subject to arrest. This is the New York City Police Department.
But less than a month later, you were allowed to sleep in the very same park outside of City Hall in Lower Manhattan. And of course, it turned into a junkie den. But that aside, USA Today recently ran a story about, the passing, and we just haven't done enough. Like, it was just talk. It was far more than just talk, and you've done more than enough. Obviously, right, when New York City defunds the police $1 billion, and they only ask for more, when Chicago stops doing traffic stops, when San Francisco stops releasing mugshots, all because of this, and then you claim, oh shit, it's just not enough. We need to do more. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot, and it would cost you nothing to engage with the content. And of course, if you wanted to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued. It actually ties into this story pretty well, where you can be documenting all of the Rona hysteria, fear-mongering stickers on the ground, and then throw that out the window and go ahead and document the chaos and destruction fueled by these Floyd, quote-unquote, protests, and then move into champagne celebrations in the streets. It's, 268.5 by 11 full-color pages documenting the demise of New York City. Very few words, a lot of pictures. Maybe I should make an entire video about that. But they say, from Breitbart, a Hollywood movie based on the life of George Floyd is currently in the works with Daddy Changed the World. Yeah, okay. The movie is expected to dramatize the life of George Floyd, whose death in police custody in 2020 was used to spark the Black Lives Matter protests and riots that lasted several months and laid waste to cities across the country ahead of the presidential election. Yeah, right? And you weren't even supposed to leave the house unless you were going to go burn down a Wendy's. And then, of course, Beau Biden wins, and there's masked zombie idiots in New York sharing champagne.
An impromptu dance party broke out. Not much social distancing, but almost everyone wearing a mask. There were bands and champagne, costumes and tears.
I'm just so happy that Trump is going to be out of office.
So are you scared or are you not scared? But that's just how deep the brainwashing and cognitive dissonance has become. His death also unleashed the defund the police movement, which of course Bill de Blasio actually did. Right? And also, where's the $850 million that your wife stole? Different story. Which seeks to portray police officers as racist and aims to strip law enforcement of public funding. George Floyd's daughter, Gianna, and her mother, Roxy Washington, are involved in the making of the movie and are serving as executive producers, according to a Variety report. And I'm assuming they got loads of money from the BLM, fundraisers that collected millions of dollars, right? And they're going to collect even more money on this. No casting or director has been announced. Gregory R. Anderson is writing the screenplay. Daddy Changed the World is being produced by Radar Pictures, the Hollywood production company behind the recent Jumanji and Riddick films, along with 8 Queens and Night Fox. The producers reportedly said the movie will be gritty drama of a man and his community thrust into the fiery light of history. Roxy Washington, the mother of Floyd's daughter Gianna, said in a statement, We are excited the world will see the real jovial and loving George we knew. It's a Hollywood production. I highly doubt it's going to be even remotely close to real. But I guess you got to watch the movie to find out. This film will humanize. Bro, it's always the same terms. So many of these people use the exact same language, which, of course, is part of the weirdo dystopian Democrat doublespeak narrative. It's completely disgusting. Now, this, of course, is a Breitbart article, but they're quoting Floyd's daughter or his baby mama or whatever, and she, of course, got the talking point. For the last 4 years, I'm sure she's been working with a handful of these people to further foist propaganda on everybody, and it just doesn't stop, right? Humanize. I'm kind of drawing a blank now.
And I want to be incredibly mindful here. Yeah, look, going to be mindful. So I'm going to be really mindful.
But you notice them in all of these articles. And again, this is not one of the weirdo mainstream propaganda publications, but they are quoting one of the main propagandists who I'm sure is benefiting from this entire hysteria. This film will humanize him, embody the essence of his life, and hopefully reignite efforts to pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Yep, because it's never enough. It's never enough. Do you think they're going to pass this bill and say, all right, good, we did it, we did a good job? No, absolutely not. And I haven't read the bill, but I assume it's completely crazy, and a whole bunch of stuff that they have done just isn't enough. This is wild, right? And I guess it makes perfect sense to turn it into a Hollywood movie, which of course is all obviously fake. And I don't know, bro. I can't imagine this is going to bring in a lot of money, but of course I could be wrong. It's time for justice and equality for all. Bro, the country was leveled. Cities across the country were burned down, but it just wasn't enough. We need more justice. Are you just ignoring everything else that happened? Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was sentenced to 20 years in jail for Floyd's death. Authorities found that Floyd had fentanyl and methamphetamine in his system at the time of his death, but they concluded his death was caused by the knee placed on his neck when in police custody. Floyd was a repeat criminal who served 8 jail terms on charges including drug possession and theft. And unfortunately, I think this is just a furtherance of the mob rule, right? And I don't know exactly when it started. Who knows? You can just make up whatever. Identify as you want. But I think the mob rule kind of started all the way back in Rodney King. And then O.J. Simpson got to do whatever he wanted. And now this guy, Fentanyl Floyd, who of course, look, I don't know, nobody's perfect. Obviously, no police officers. Fentanyl Floyd certainly wasn't perfect. But they want to pretend that, okay, maybe I'm no doctor. Maybe he would still be alive if he didn't have a knee on his neck. But all of the other stuff he was doing, right? We know the stories. The gun, the pregnant lady, the porn. But the officer who tried to subdue him after he was passing off fraudulent bills, he goes to prison for 20 years. While criminals across the... And that gave rise even further to the crime that we're seeing now.
You guys worried about consequences like from the police out here?
Well, San Francisco doesn't believe in crime. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Shout out the DA, though. Oh, shout out London Breed, too.
Right, it was pretty bad in New York and San Francisco before, but the smash and grabs, I mean, they just went through the roof after Fentanyl Floyd passed, even though we were still supposed to be deathly afraid of Rona, but we were supposed to ignore that notion to do racial justice. I mean, it's all a complete mess, but here we have it, a Hollywood treatment about the life of George Floyd. I mean, could this be real at all? Probably not. It's a Hollywood production, so maybe it's not supposed to be real. But maybe they're going to sprinkle in some of the bad things that people talk about that Floyd did, and they're going to sugarcoat it. But at the end of it, they're still going to make sure that you know that this was completely racist and injustice. Ugh.